Hello everyone, welcome back to a Skeleton's Library. Today, I just have a kind of simple video. I just want to go over 10 book series that I'm looking forward to reading. The idea of this kind of came from having a very specific itch to read a certain series, which will be the final entry here. I don't know if you guys get this way, but sometimes I just read a synopsis of a series and I just get this insane urge and itch in my head to be like, I gotta read this. I want to read this so bad. It just kind of latches itself onto me. I can't get rid of it, at least for a while. Sometimes, you move on, but usually I'm just like, I gotta have it. Then once I get to it, I'm like, oh, okay, that just died down a bit. But yeah, that's kind of what inspired me for this video. I said 10, but I do have 11 series here listed. This first one is cheating though. I've already actually read the first 3 books of Sun Eater, which is why I say it's cheating. It's more of an audible mention. I remember getting into it a couple years ago. I feel 2 or 3 maybe at this point. And the first book just sucked me in so hard that I binge read the first 3 in like a week or 2, something like that. And these are big books, so I was locked in. I remember reading all day a lot of these. I was like, all my free time, I needed to know what was happening next. These books had gripped me in a way I hadn't had in a while at that point because I was very off and on reading at the time. It was something I got a binge kind of relationship with it where I read for a long time. I'd get in a really specific mood for fantasy. I'd read like 10 fantasy books and I'd be like, oh, okay, that's enough. I'm burnt out. And I'm in the mood for manga. I'll read like fucking 15 mangas. I'm like, oh, okay, that's enough for that, etc. But this very odd relationship of reading at the time. This series kind of just reinvigorated my passion and interest in a way that hadn't been done in a while. So yeah, I gotta get back to it at some point. Again, reading those really big books back to back to back had just kind of got to me at the time. Among Kingdoms of Death, I pretty much remember everything that happened in the first 3 still. I really just gotta hop back into it at some point. That's our honorable mention. And number 10, we have The Faithful and the Fallen, I think is the proper series name. I'm really blind with this one. And I kind of liked it that way. Honestly, it's mainly grabbed my interest for this one is I finally got accepted for a Broken Binding subscription, and their next series of books is going to be this series. So it got me interested. I looked up the series. I read like maybe the first time the synopsis, and I stopped myself. And I feel like these days it's so rare to be able to hop into something truly blind. I tend to know a lot about a series or book I'm about to hop into. So I just kind of a couple of these on here. I kind of honestly am interested in just because I don't know much about them at all. And that adds to their benefit, I think. And this is one of those. I'll just have to see where it leads me. What I've heard about, I hear good things, so I can't imagine I'll be let down. Either way, that's probably why it's number 10. And number 9, we have Empire of the Vampire. Anyone who knows me, I love vampires, so they're kind of always an easy sell to me, regardless of quality. And I've heard these books are good. I know there's some mixed things on the 3rd book, I believe. Besides that, I've heard mainly positive the series. And honestly, the main thing that attracted me towards this series was I think it was a Mike Book Reviews podcast where he had, I think, Chris Rocchio, Jay Kristoff, and the many author who I can't think of the name of right now, so apologies. But he had a podcast with them, and I don't know, Jay Kristoff just seemed like a really chilled, laid back, cool guy, and I was like, damn, I like his vibes. I should read that series sooner. And it was originally on my docket a lot sooner, but with me having the fan series of World of Darkness in the back burner that I'm trying to interweave a book here every now and then, I just a lot of vampire stuff, including another entry later on, so I just had this one pushed a bit back to where I don't know when I'll get to it. Hopefully I get to it this year though. Number 8, we have Malazan, Book of the Fallen. This is another series that I feel like I just heard like a lot of booktubers mention here and there. I just have this kind of idea about that. It's a great series if you want this really epic fantasy with grand scope, and that got me hooked. I mean, that premise, like, how can I not be interested in that? I bought the first book and I have it over to the side somewhere. I don't know when I'll start this one. It is a bit more of a commitment as it's fucking what 10 books long. I don't know when I'll get to this one. It's probably one of the ones that'll be further back as it's a bigger commitment. I don't know. It seems interesting. I know when people talk about that, like you get like different gods and all this other stuff. That everything here about it sounds really cool, really epic. That I couldn't help but have it grip my attention. For number, are we on 7? Number 7. I'm gonna assume we have His Dark Materials, similar to some of the others. I remember this as a kid. The movie adaptation came out when I was young. I don't think I saw it, but I always saw like the trailers or like clips of it with the. I always remember the polar bear, as I feel everyone does. That's kind of like an image I always have had seared into my mind that I can't forget. I don't remember the last time I read a young adult series or anything like that because I'm an adult. I kind of wanted to go back and see what it was all about because I do just have this strange childhood tied to it of remembering that polar bear so well, that CGI polar bear. It just always seemed like a very interesting idea. Like, I don't know. It feels so different than things like Harry Potter or Percy Jackson even. I was a Percy Jackson kid, by the way, all the way. And that, Greek mythology is something you always know. And wizards, kind of like, not to say they're grounded, they're out there, but they're kind of like one layer out there. This one, I'm like, what the fuck? There's like all polar bears you can ride and that talk and stuff. I need to see what that's about. It just seemed more out there than the other two, more interesting in concept, I guess. I'm gonna go and give this a try. At number 6, we have Red Rising, the first trilogy. Again, kind of doesn't need an explanation. It's one of the biggest series out there, one of the most popular ones. I've seen so many people hold this in such high regard. I mentioned in my last video about upcoming reads that this is one of the ones on there, so the series is right there for me that I'm going to be getting into soon, so of course I'm looking forward to it. I really want to see if it lives up to the hype. From what I've heard about it, it kind of sounds familiar to something like Sun Eater and Will of the Many maybe combined, something like that. I've even heard like Lord of the Flies, Hunger Games, shit like that. It all sounds cool, sounds up my alley. And with how high regard people have for it, I just want to see if I have that same feeling. That it's always kind of nice to be in on something that's held in such a high regard with others. You feel like you're in on it, you're in the club. So I gotta get in the Red Rising club. After that, we have the Greenbone Saga at 5. This is one that I have a really big itch for right now, as I love urban fantasy. It's one of my favorite genres. I grew up on Hellblazer, and even Harry Dresden I read when I was young. Constantine, again, to go back to Hellblazer, is my favorite comic book character. It's just a genre that I've always had a deep love and itch for. It's always kind of pulled me towards it. Just hearing about this one, it's like a crime family fiction, I believe, with cool, like, I kind of love Asian culture, so like those influences on it just seem really, really interesting. This one's probably gonna be my next read after the Demolish Man, which I'm reading right now. Honestly, I've had to stop myself from putting Demolish Man down and not just hop right into. I think Jade City is the first one. It is one of the 2 series on here that I've had this really strong itch for. That's why it's pretty high up here. It would be like second, but I wanted to have it right next to Red Rising because these are kind of the 2 series I mentioned in my last videos. I figured I'd keep them together. At 4, we have the Vampire Chronicles, and I love the TV show Interview with the Vampire, so that kind of made me want to read the series at some point. I have the first book. I actually don't see too many book readers talk about the TV adaptation, so I don't know how accurate or well it lives up to the book. Yeah, I know the books go on for a while. Like, everyone has high regard for the first three from what I hear. Interview with the Vampire. The Vampire, Lestat, and Queen of the Damned, I think, are the three. And after that, I hear the quality kind of varies and gets lower. But just hearing some of the concept, like hearing like Lestat has to deal with the devil or something in a later book, just sounds like it'll be like lower in quality, but I'll still have a good time. So I'm interested to see just how far I can get into a series like this if I'll still enjoy the later ones. And again, I love vampire stuff. I love this show. It's an easy sell for me. Number 3, we have the Elric Saga. I actually started the first book of this novella a while ago. I didn't get too far into it. I believe I got to where he kind of stops the first coup and he's chasing down his rival. I can't remember the name of. He's looking, I think, for like a live ship or like some magical ship. That's kind of where I put the book down for one reason or another. I don't remember exactly why. I might have just had another book that I really, again, had an itch for because I'm a very impulsive reader sometimes. I just put it down and I haven't gone back to it again. This was years ago. But just hearing more about the author, because he's kind of a controversial one. And just this character, thinking about all the stuff it seems to have inspired and touched in pop culture with so many different characters that just seem like variants of Elric. Just really want to hop back into it. It's about a fucking, I mean, it's about a prince with white hair that's like a magic evil sword. It's harder to come up with a cooler idea than that. It's kind of a very easy sell. I feel like not just to me, but anyone. It's a fucking awesome concept. I just need to get back to it eventually. Number 2, we have Books of the New Sun. Another one I hear nothing but good things about. I know I've actually read some of this series as well. I read all my, I think I have a, I know I've read a bit, I think I have in my Google library I saw I had the whole series and I was like 300 pages in. And I have no memory of this. I don't know if I actually read it or I bought it and I flipped to a page or something by accident. Because I have very vague memories of this series, so I don't believe I actually read like 300 pages. Anyone who saw my Folio Society unboxing knows I got a really good edition of this series. So that's the other inspiration for wanting to read this is here it's a masterpiece, but I also have this really cool edition that has beautiful artwork. And speaking of artwork, I mean, even look at these old covers. Look how like weird and high fantasy this all looks. They look so absurd and cool that I also just want to read this series to see what the fuck this is all about or like what's going on here. This feels like a little bit more you know what's kind of happening here and this one too. But yeah, it looks like this like such a unique style and setting that I really want to see what it's all about. Number 1, we have the Live Ship Traders trilogy, which may seem like an odd pick. I didn't even really know about this trilogy till recently. I read Robin Hobb's like Assassin's trilogy when I was a kid, like 13, 14 maybe. Honestly, maybe younger. I'm bad with time and years in my past. So I don't recall exactly when I read it, but I remember loving it. It's a series I have to go back to one day to kind of revitalize, you know, the story in my head. It's one of those series I remember when I was a kid, but I remember more how it made me feel than the actual events itself, you know? It's like the faded memory of feelings rather than this succinct memory where I can recall everything that actually happened there. So I do have to get back to that series. I heard about this one, and all I know is it's about like ships that are magic ships that are like alive, and like a pirate is in it. And I love pirate. You know, Black Sails is one of my favorite TV shows, if not my favorite TV show. And something about that concept of this family with a magic ship that is alive and this pirate trying to get one just really gripped me. Again, this is the one I mentioned where I have such a big itch to read this series now that I actually don't own it. I don't own any of these books yet. But if I had one or if I bought one like today, I would be reading. I would be dropping anything to read it. Like I have such an urge to read this series right now. I don't know why. even though like as far as Robin Hobb is concerned, I feel I don't hear about this series too much. Again, it's a recent learn for me. I feel like everyone mentions like the assassins and the fool and all that. I don't know. I personally haven't heard about this one, but you know that could just be probably just my ignorance. But yeah, that's the last series I really want to get into. These are just general series I want to read. I don't know when the hell I'm gonna get to some of them. I don't even own like I don't even own a lot of them. I only own the first of a couple. So who knows when I'm gonna get to anything. But other than that, remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.